All right, well, welcome everyone to our next episode of Punching Through. I am joined by Kathy, COO of Incredible Bank, and she is an incredible lady. We kind of go back in the day from my Jack Henry days, so it's so great to have you on this series, Kathy, and to partner with you on the other side now that I'm in fintech land, and just thought of you like when we were going through roll call of like all the amazing women we wanted to highlight this month. I was like, yeah, we have to get Kathy on and let her talk a little bit about her career and what she's done. So if you want to just like kind of introduce yourself and give everybody a feel for your background, and then we'll hop into a couple of questions.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for choosing me for this, Tiffany. I appreciate it, and privileged to be a part of the group that you've pulled together. So yeah, my role first of all, I think I work at probably the coolest bank name in the country, Incredible Bank. And here I'm responsible for all things, what I tell people, all things people, technology, operations, and then I add in marketing is also part of my role. So I have a little bit of that front end side as well as all the back end. My career started, I started as a COBOL programmer right when I got out of college. Ended up working for a small tech firm that focused on the financial industry, and ended up working at a bank where I said I would never work. So I've been at Incredible Bank now for 9 years and having a lot of fun. In my role, I like to tell people at my level, I'm just really passionate about leading people and helping them find their motivation, and then providing them with purpose and the autonomy to be brilliant at what they do. And if they're successful, that's my greatest success.
I love that. I love how you said like help people be brilliant at what they do. That's really powerful. I like that. Like kind of thinking back over your career, I think it's fascinating. Like you went into something you never thought you would in the banking realm. But like, was there like a pivotal like moment or experience that you can think of that just shaped you as a leader, or shaped you like from a banking perspective, that you can just kind of share with everybody?
Yeah, I wouldn't say banking perspective. For me, that most pivotal moment is you had teed that question up, and I thought back on my career. Where I worked in that small tech firm, we were a privately held family-owned company with right around 100 employees, and maybe at the time 150. And it happened to be a day we had an all hands company meeting in 2005. We walk in, and our CEO founder stood up in front of the company and said, I sold the company, and as of today, you have a new CEO. And with less than 2 minutes, he said that and walked off the stage, and we were now owned by private equity. And that change is shocking, as it was. It really changed the trajectory of my career. And the reason, I tell people I don't have an official MBA, I have a 4-year degree, but that time period of working for private equity, I felt like was an MBA on steroids, and it changed everything about my career. And it's been pretty amazing since. And what I would tell you, I summarized it like kind of the key takeaways from those moments and things I learned as a leader: know your numbers, know your people, and know your business. And that's kind of what I live by today.
Wow, that's awesome. Good advice. Any other like skills or experiences or like qualities that you think, have been most, I don't know, like most instrumental in you moving forward, or like, like your time under that PE obviously shaped you in a lot of ways, but like any other things that really added to, or you had to work at, like you found hard. We've been talking, we just got off another interview, and it was kind of like, learning to say, I don't know, but I got to go figure it out. Like any of those things that you feel really added to kind of who you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I do think a lot of the PE days required me to face a lot of those moments. But the mindset that I had, and I still have today, I believe, is I'm very competitive, which that can be good and bad, but for the most part, I try to make it good. So I try to be the hardest working. and I'm really thirsty for knowledge. And I think even the further we get in our career, you have to be careful that you don't think you still know it. So you have to keep learning and then keep grabbing opportunities. So I was along the way, I always was willing to say yes and maybe take some risk. So when that, something that really helped me, I think when that CEO came in, that new private equity CEO came in, pretty quickly he recognized that I was doing things that, for my level, basically I should have been at a higher level, and he promoted me pretty quickly. And under him, this was early on, I was fortunate. He hired an executive coach for me. And again, that's something that if you have an opportunity as somebody in business where somebody's going to offer that to you, take it. If they don't, ask for it, because I do believe that was something that really helped shape who I am, to think differently about different situations and the different people that you work with. It just really helped me along the way in all these different scenarios.
That's great advice. And I would agree. Like, I've had a couple executive coaches and some that stuck with me for a few years. And that is just a super valuable experience if you can find the right one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of like matchmaking, but it's definitely accelerates, I think, the growth and helps you kind of shape out. So I love that. That's great. That's great advice. Like anything you just wish for other women. We'll have up and comers listening to this. We have tons of people in fintech from a reach perspective, and definitely our beloved financial services. Anything you want to speak over or say to the women, particularly who are listening to this, and any of our male allies as well?
Yeah, well, that's a big question. As a female, and I think we've all heard this a lot of times, like, don't be afraid to reach out to that position that might seem a little bit further for you, but stretch yourself. I have somebody working for me today that an opportunity, somebody left and she moved up and just started showing up very differently. And she admitted it was a big stretch for her, but she is thriving, and she's almost become like blossom, because she's become just this more confident person, and she's taking on a lot more than she thought she could ever do. So don't be afraid to just get after it. And I know we talk a lot about mentoring. I also like to encourage not only mentoring, but sponsorship. So for the men out there that in banking, let's just say banking, because still at the highest levels in banking, the majority of that C-suite level are still men. And I think we're making headway, but that's where sponsorship comes in. And sponsorship for me is when we're sitting around that table talking about opportunities in our company, talking about different people and who should advance, why should they advance. Be the person in the room that's bringing those women up too, because what happens is, and it happens to all of us, we tend to look at people that look or act like us, and those are the people that we might sponsor. But we have to kind of take away our biases and be more broad about who are we sponsoring, and be that person to fight for the person that nobody else is fighting for.
That's awesome. Yeah. We got to vouch for one another, like from a capability and a competency standpoint. I love that. And especially challenging those biases are hard, but just being aware, if we can just be aware of our biases, that's half the battle, right?
It is half the battle.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thanks again for joining us and joining kind of this initiative between CAF and FingerCheck, and we're excited to release it, and again, just really appreciative of our stellar lineup of women like you. So thank you.
Thanks again for including me.
Absolutely.